If you took everything that was ever written or said about Jesus and Christianity, and you put it all in a big pile, like if you could manage to get everything that was ever written or said in all of history about Jesus and Christianity, and you could get it all in a big pile, and you were standing at the foot of that pile, and you were looking up at it all, be as high as a mountain, right? If you could do that and you were standing there, and if a total stranger walked up to that scene and stood beside you and looked up at it all with you, and then this total stranger said to you, "What does all of that tell me to do with my life?" There is only one thing to say in response. You ready? The only thing to say to your stranger is all of that is inviting all of us to be rooted and grounded in love. Now, to be rooted and grounded in love means that I've made a decision to turn my will and my life over to God. And not because I think there's something in it for me. In fact, a lot of times, when you turn your life over to God, you'll have day after day thinking, what in the hell is in this for me? Sometimes things don't go well. The decision to turn one's will and one's life over to the care of God is about needing a new starting place. You ever wake up in the morning, or heck, sometimes in the middle of the night, with your mind just racing? That ever, any human beings here? Yeah, okay, I got a couple over here on my right. Thank you. No. You ever wake up, or your mind's just racing? Well, your starting place is that racing mind. Your starting place is your to-do list, or your worries, or your ambitions, or your fears. That's your starting place. People who are rooted and grounded in love have been given a gift. And it can only come by gift. Nothing you can do to make it happen. And the gift is that they realize that their ground, the root of their being, their source, is the love of God dwelling inside their actual body. And so their starting place is that love. Does that make any sense at all? So I sometimes say that the two most important theological words in our tradition are from and with. From and with. Because when a person is rooted and grounded in love, like when they've been given that gift, then that person proceeds into the day from the ground of love within her. That's her starting place. And she loves whatever and whoever, like whoever. No. I mean whoever is right in front of her with God. Do you see what? Y'all are not with me. Okay. It all comes down to prepositions. The two most important theological words in the Christian tradition are from and with. Now, I seldom, these days anyway, it's changed. Amy, since I was a little boy, I think it's changed. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's changed. I seldom hear much about Christianity in the public sphere anymore. I'm not judging that. It's just my observation. And when I do hear somebody talk about Christians in the public arena, I can't help but think they get us all wrong. We're sometimes made out, like when people are out in the world, out in the streets, talking about Christians, I think, maybe I'm being too sensitive, I think sometimes they make us out to be people we're not. They make us out to be these extremely opinionated, overly pious, highly offendable, precious people who don't like to have fun, who are like just all biding the time until we can go to church again. But that's not us at all. That's not even close. You're rooted and grounded in love, baby. You don't care what people say. We Christians are a simple people on a great adventure. And the adventure that we're on is our attraction to this living flame of hope. Hope that we would be given the gift of becoming a people. Remember, it's a gift. You cannot make it happen. Of becoming a people rooted and grounded in love so that we can come at life from a place of love. And love whatever and whoever is right in front of us with God. When you get home later this afternoon, and you're like, what the heck was the point of that sermon? Just remember the prepositions, from and with. Now there is, what I do hear out there is a whole lot of rough talk. We call it at my house rough talk. Especially when we were raising Charlie, when we were raising the little girls, it was rough talk. I hear an awful lot of rough talk in the world today. I mean, cars honking, people yelling, people cursing and carrying on. And what I experience in the rough talk is that it crowds the love out. Do you know what I'm talking about? But here's the deal with us. Again, blame this on Jesus, not me. I actually like rough talk. I like to rough talk. But Jesus tells us, Don knows this, Jesus tells us we're not allowed to be a part of it. He says, you're not allowed to be a part of the rough talk. He says, what you're called to do is to assume an inner stance that makes you vulnerable to receiving the gift. This is good, isn't it? Of being rooted and grounded in love. Now, I had something happen to me that I think is an image of this gift. And I went back and forth all weekend, wrestling with what I'm about to say, because I didn't want to say it. I think it could come across as too sentimental and cute and da-da-da-da. And I tried to chase 3 other rabbits. Sometimes these things are hard to write. But I couldn't get away from this one, so it came back in this morning. See what you think. I'm usually in a hurry when I'm at the grocery store. When I see you at the grocery store, I'm going to confess, Diane, I'm sorry. When I see you at the grocery store, I often duck my head and go the other way. It's not about you, it's about me, because I'm crazy. I'm a total mess. I'm usually in a hurry at the grocery store because I got so many things to get and do in my head, and I'm just But the last time I was at the grocery store, God intervened, and I moved slowly on purpose. I didn't go through the self-checkout line. I got in the line at the checkout where they, old school, right? Where there's somebody you can deal with. And I put my groceries on that conveyor belt. And I looked all around because by some strange grace, I had been slowed down. And Marnie, I wanted to see what I usually miss. I looked up at the ceiling, what is up there? And I turned my head slowly on my neck, these muscles. And I looked at all the people. I wanted to see what I missed when I was in a hurry, distracted by my many thoughts. And one of the things I saw was the actual human man standing in line in front of me. This fella, older guy, was stooped, and he had a big gray beard. And he wore a cap on his head, pulled low so the bill obscured most of his face. He had on a heavy flannel shirt. I noticed this because I was moving slowly, and he had on heavy, rugged work boots. And I noticed that the woman behind the counter, the one who worked there, working the register, I noticed that she was an actual angel. And I listened because I was moving slow enough to listen. And I heard what she said to the man with the cap pulled low. She said to him just like this, "Hello, sir. My name is Martha, and I'm going to scan all your items for you today. And sir, I hope that you've found everything that you're looking for in this store today. But if you didn't, you can let me know, and I'll help you find just what you're looking for." And she said it just like that. And then she pointed to the end of that conveyor belt to the young man at the bagging station. And she said, "This is Brendan." And then she paused, like could have easily followed, "He is the Prince of Fayette County." I mean, she said, she just felt like, "And this is Brendan." And he just kind of did a little. "He is going to put your groceries in a bag, or multiple bags if need be, so that we can get you on your way." And y'all don't believe me, but she said all of that as pleasantly as you can possibly imagine. That's how I knew she was an angel. It was the most obvious information that could possibly have been offered anywhere. All of what she said is totally implied by the context. There was no need to say any of it. But she said it like it was the most vital, gentle news she needed to deliver. And I was so glad, because in that moment I realized this angel was my teacher. She looked at the man when she spoke, and it didn't seem to bother her in the least that he would not make eye contact with her. The whole time she talked to him, he was puzzling over the debit card reader, trying to figure out the right way to insert what I could see was a government-issued food stamps card. And when she finished ringing up his items, the sum of what he owed was about $4 more than the balance on his card. And she leaned a little bit into the man, and she said in the softest, clearest voice, "Sir, it seems there's not quite enough on your card." And I think he must have sort of expected that, not the first time for him, because without missing a beat, he just started rummaging through the bags in the cart. Brendan had indeed put it all into bags to find something, and he found a package of cheese slices. And without looking, he handed the cheese over to her. He was very quiet. And she took the cheese in the open palm of her hand like he'd just given her a gold bar or some great treasure. And she looked down and she said, "Oh, yes, these look good." And then she leaned on the counter toward the man as if willing or inviting him to come in close with the cheese in her hand, and she pointed at it. And she said, "Sir, I get another brand of these cheese slices. And they're really quite often on sale. In fact, they go on sale tomorrow. And would you believe it, sir? You can save $2.50. And then she pointed to the ingredients on the packet, and she said, "The ones I get that'll be on sale tomorrow, they're made from organic milk." And she said, "Sir, if you want to come back tomorrow, I'll help you find them. I'll be here." That's what she said, "I'll be here." And he looked at her. Finally, he looked at her like he was looking into the face of Jesus. And he said, very softly, okay. Okay. And I think for him, that was saying a lot. I wondered afterward why I didn't pay for the cheese. But then I realized that I wasn't there to solve a problem. I'd been called into that moment to be a student in the school of love. And because I, by some strange grace, consented to it, I got to witness the gentlest exchange in this rough world. I got to witness the gentlest exchange I've seen in a long time. You see, Martha, this angel, has been given the gift. She is rooted and grounded in love, and as such, she was able to meet that old, scared man from the ground of her own being and love him with God. The whole doggone world is rough talking all around her, and there she is, Martha, shining like the sun, helping an old man with a package of cheese slices. And when she got him taken care of, she turned to me and she said, and baby, I looked at her. I said, give it to me, Martha. What do you got, girl? She looked at me and she said, hello, sir. My name is Martha. That there's Brendan. And we're going to help you with your groceries. And for just a moment, for just a moment, I was filled with all the fullness of God. Amen.